Hey, beautiful souls. I'm really excited to dive in with, I'm going to fully dive in, but like really just be dipping a toe in at the same time, if we can be multidimensional like that, because this is too big of a topic to be able to treat in a short live. But I want to start this conversation and then continue with it over the course of this week and very much dive deeper into it in my Evolutionary Elemental Prosperity Masterclass. I do so many things with evolution, but this one's about our prosperity. But I want to talk about how self-care, like real self-care, not bubble baths and chocolates and treat yourself, self-care is a revolutionary and evolutionary act. And it truly is so much deeper than what the corporate people that are like, oh, make sure you do some yoga on your lunch hours so you can handle all of your intense workload is talking about, right? Real self-care takes a whole ecosystem approach to your entire being. And it also involves getting support from the community, from other people. And it cannot be just in isolation, and it's not all on you. And also, let's talk about why it's so difficult for us to take care of ourselves. Like, why is it a buzzword? Why is it trending? Why is self-care trendy right now? And why do we all know that we should do more of it? I mean, we could do a whole treatise on this, but capitalism is part of it, right? The systemic structures that we're in right now have really not done much to support ourselves, our beingness. And they've actually really put production as what we are valued for. And basically people themselves have been commodified for what they can provide, right? And we have this idea that if we're not being productive, we have no value, which is, of course, BS, right? We don't lose our value just because we grow up. But if you look at a newborn, their value, their worth is so intrinsic in them, right? You don't do anything to lose that. What you are doing does not determine your value and your worth and your worthiness to exist and have what you need, okay? And also, capitalism is not going anywhere yet. And we're in the zeitgeist, the moment of all of this disruption of how the systems are working. People are finally speaking out. Well, they have been for a long time, right? Like, I mean, this is not new, but really it's in the culture now to say, hey, this stuff isn't working. COVID was a great gift to show us how busy we've been and how little time we had and how capitalism has messed up. I wanted to say something else, but I don't want to get the Facebook Live ban for swearing on camera. You know, capitalism has really destroyed so many lives because when we're always valuing our production and when we're in an economy where there is not enough, it's based upon survival, right? And some people have more than enough, but there's lots and lots of people who don't have enough time, enough energy, enough money, right? There's all of this scarcity, survival, competition, energy that's also intrinsic in this capitalism system. And it's to the people at the top's advantage to keep all of the other people in that survival mode, because then they feel like they're lacking and then they buy more things and they consume more things, and then the cycle just continues. And we could talk about how it's a self-perpetuating cycle. You know, being in late stage capitalism is a really, let's just call it, interesting place to be, where things are not really working and we're really seeing what is what for the first time. But that's also because the veils are being lifted and people now have this opportunity to see more of what has been there under the surface for a very long time, energetically, physically, noticing it in the systems and the structures. And we are ready to move out of survival as a species, right? Humanity has played this game of just survival and competition and lack and scarcity for a long, long time. And I'm speaking at the soul level, and energetically, we've already decided that we've had enough of that, and we're ready to evolve into this next octave of consciousness, of awareness, of unity, of togetherness, of the fact that we're all, connected in this ecosystem, right? When we talk about the ecosystem, we can't remove ourselves. Our value and worth is inherent, and it's not based on what we produce, but also there is value in every single thing, instead of this valuing of all of the crap that capitalism has put on, right? How much you can work, how much you can make, how much money you have. There is value just in our being here. There's value in exploration, in art, in discovery, in learning. All of those things play, right? Like, the actual things that matter have been devalued, and the things that are important, just are finally coming to light. And that's why people are like, man, we need to take care of ourselves. But let me tell you, it is revolutionary and evolutionary, because when you focus on your self-care first and foremost, above anything else, which is terrifying for a lot of people to conceive of, when you put yourself first over work, over even other people, even as a mom, even your self-care over your children, which is very revolutionary, you will have enough, and you won't be in survival, and you won't be in this depleted competition, separation, scarcity, lack energy that keeps us stuck, that keeps us spinning our gears and keeps us fighting with other people because we're fighting for enough. Okay? Now, I'm not saying one day of focusing on self-care is going to get you there. I'm not saying that it doesn't take community care and support and people banding together. But I'm saying we have to invert the paradigm, completely invert the matrix. Shalon was just talking about this. Yes, it's in the zeitgeist. It's in our energy right now, and it's important, and it needs to be talked about. If we put ourselves first and fill ourselves up to overflowing, then we can give and be of service and actually tap into all of the creativity and the resources that we actually have as multidimensional beings. We can tap into all of our wisdom, like not just from this life, from past lives, from parallel lives, from future lives, because we can bring it all into the now. But we can't do that kind of work if we are depleted energetically, if we are spinning in trauma, if we have our shields up and we're in fight or flight or any of those scarcity mindset experiences or survival experiences. So the self-care is the key. And it sounds so freaking selfish when you say that, because we've been programmed to believe that we are to give and to give and to give until we are dried up husk and nothing is left. And we are, women in our 40s and 50s, and our kids have left the home, and then we're going through a crisis going like, who am I? What even do I like? Because you gave it all to them. Right? This is a story that's played out over the last while. And it's time, and by it's time, I mean it's literally happening now, to invert the entire matrix that has been upside down. And we get to focus on self first, because the words from Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world, are more truth than we can even understand at the first glance, right? We have to come into this harmonious balance in our own internal ecosystem in order to be able to have that balance in the outer world. If we want peace in the world, we need to find the peace in ourselves. If we want to see health in the world outside of us, we have to do it for ourselves first. If we want to see, growth, evolution, all of the joy, healing, we get to do it for ourselves first. We get to. I changed it from we have to, do we get to, because it's actually an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing privilege, but it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It is one of the hardest things to do because it's going against thousands of years of programming and cultural narratives. Okay? So it's not easy, and it is the most worthwhile endeavor right now that we can do, is to start to focus on us and what we need in every realm of our being. Because too often we'll just zone in on one, like just focus on the body. I just got to get in shape, got to lose some weight, got to work out, got to eat right. And we forget about the spiritual connection. We might forget about the friend connection we need, the community connection. We might be so focused on healing our traumas that we forget that we also get to work on the mind level, on our focus, on our healing the belief systems that have been programmed into us that are not ones that we have consciously chosen, right? We are a really complex ecosystem, and all of the different realms of us support each other and they work together, and we get to focus on all of them instead of just one of them, right? There is this tendency in our culture currently to focus on the loudest thing, the thing that we deem the most important, that is like the symptom, without maybe going to the root cause, right? So in this process, we get to focus on ourselves as whole beings who have emotional needs, physical needs, mental needs. We have needs in the spiritual realm, and we get to focus on all of it in order to come into wholeness, to come into that overflow. And from that place of overflow is where we connect with all of the possibilities. We connect with the abundance consciousness that I've spoken of, where we connect with our multidimensionality, where we can get to our intuition, where we can tap into our creativity and our logic and our problem solving and our ability to analyze and see, the whole picture, be the visionaries. All of that requires that we are not basically running on 10% battery, right? When you're burnt out, you don't have access to all of your gifts. And it's harder to get going if you are at that place of burnout, if you're feeling really depleted. It takes, ironically, more energy than you have sometimes. So you just have to begin and find the thing that is the most important and fill yourself up with that, right? And find the support that you need and fill yourself up with that. Find the most painful thing that needs to be healed and do that. And then you start to develop this upwards momentum. And with the momentum, it gets so much easier. It's not fair that we live in a world where, an object at rest tends to stay at rest and an object in motion tends to stay at motion, because that momentum law makes getting going more difficult. So we need to accept that it's going to be harder at first. But I had this talk with you the other day, and if you didn't see it, go back and watch it from a few days ago. It's called You Can Do Hard Things. Okay? You can do hard things, and you can learn to upend all of those paradigms that if you're giving to yourself first, you're selfish, or that if you're not working, if you're resting and relaxing and spending money and time on yourself, that you're not being productive. All of that stuff, we can do hard things and we can flip it. We can rewire it. And the cool part is the payoff is so great. The payoff is beyond comparison. And I know because I've been there. I have been so deep into that self-sacrifice paradigm that comes from wherever, from our ancestry and all of that, that I laughed and got really defensive, actually, when someone suggested to me when my child was about 2 and I had a business and I was a mom and my husband was sick and I was responsible for all these things, that I could spend 10 minutes on myself in the morning to prove that I mattered. And I literally laughed. I scoffed. I was like, you don't know my life. I'm too busy. I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. And I had bought in so fully to the paradigm of production and that I had to value other things over my health and wellness that I couldn't even accept that. But of course that was lies. It was lies. And now I not only have shifted that paradigm for myself, I support other people in doing that as well. Okay. Now I really make sure that I am filling up my cup, and I notice if it starts to get depleted, and that happens because I'm, I love my work so much. I can easily get into doing more than I need to, at the time. And sometimes there's time for the push. But now half of my job as a coach, as a friend even, is to remind people to take care of themselves. And then they go, oh yeah. Or they'll be like me and be like, oh, I don't have time. And it's like, no. It gives you time. It gives you resources. It gives you what you need. It gives you your energy back. It gives you the creativity you need. It gives you the ability to raise your frequency to the place where you can actually bend and collapse time. You can connect with the resources and the support you need. It activates your magic. Your magic doesn't work very well when your battery is at 10%, right? It slows you down and you just can't access all of these realms of magic and possibility and co-creation. It's so necessary. So necessary, Nicole is saying. And she's come into a deeper embodiment of that recently, and she told her story on our Illumination chat yesterday. But I also saw a conversation, or participated in a conversation with a friend on Facebook, a fellow coach. Her name is Mindy Sarton, and she posted that, sometimes you don't need to shift a belief system, or you don't need to do energetic healing. I can't remember what it was. Sometimes you just need to drink water. I am paraphrasing her, but sometimes you're not needing anything but to take care of your most basic needs, and then everything's going to be okay. Have you ever thought the world was ending and it turns out you were just hungry? Or you needed to just have a good night's sleep and then everything was okay? Come on, I'm not alone. There's some hearts flying on the screen. So you know that this happens when we are missing our most basic human needs. We can turn into a hungry, cranky bee, right? And so sometimes it's more insidious than that, because we can come into it without realizing it. So Nicole's saying that was part of her realization. I was looking to fix something deep and I just needed to rejuvenate, right? You're thinking it's a belief system. It's an Akashic wound. It's, I'm being psychically attacked. Or maybe you just need a night out with your girlfriends. Maybe you just need to laugh. Maybe you just need to go and do something fun, right? And fill up your cup, as the metaphor goes. And then your battery is at 100%, and you're like, wow, I can actually get my work done more quickly. I can actually have the energy to play, and I have the energy to give myself the gift of investing in me at a deeper level. You might have the energy to meal prep. You might have the energy to do some planning. You might have the energy to take on more clients and make more money and all of those things so that you can have even more energy. It's this upward spiral, a self-fulfilling prophecy that brings you out of that survival and scarcity mode that keeps us trapped in the capitalist paradigm of production and all of that stuff. And it brings us into that higher vibrational frequency where we can feel and know and be connected to who we really are, right? We can tap into our soul essence. We can use our intuitive gifts to understand what is the next right thing for us, right? And when we do this, the whole reason that we do this is because, well, honestly, it feels better. That's one. But when we do this, when we take care of ourselves to the point that we are overflowing, then we can really step into what we're here to do, right? We can step into our soul mission. We can do hard things. We can do big things. We can chase our dreams and actually create them in reality. We have the energy and the capacity to go, you know what? I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. And then you set that intention and then magically bring in the people with the connections and the codes, and you can learn how to do it because you're not in overwhelm, because you're not in burnout. This is so key to our evolutionary process as individuals, right? But also for humanity, because I know all of you want to be the change, right? And so we get to give it to ourselves first. And we get to invert that paradigm of putting everybody else first. We get to focus on all of our needs, not just the most pressing ones, right? In time. You can't do it all at once. And we get to focus on that entire ecosystem that is us, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the ones that are community related and soul care connections with people. All of it is necessary, and we only have the energy to do it all when we fill ourselves up. And this is how we get to do the hard things, and we get to create the world that we want to be in, right? Moving out of survival individually will move us out of survival as a species, right? Because we get to do it first for ourselves, and then you ripple it out. You give other people permission to do it too. Maybe you become a coach, healer, practitioner in your own way, build a business or be part of a business that's doing that for other people, right? We start to create more wealth, create more abundance, create more possibility, create more fun, and it's this upward spiral. And right now we're at that part where we have very little momentum as a collective, but we're getting there, right? And it's hard right now, and that's okay, because we are so capable and resilient, and we can do hard things. Ashley's just saying, wow, so perfect for today. Woke up with a migraine, tried to do some clearing, which did nothing. What finally helped was a smoothie and a bath. Yeah, your human sometimes needs attention, right? The human part of us that we forget sometimes requires everything, and it's the foundation. It's the vehicle we're riding in, but also the temple we're existing in. And when we honor it, we have access to the magic. We've got access to more. But we can't just focus on the body and forget about the spiritual. We can't just focus on the feelings and forget about the body, right? It's all of it, because we are a whole ecosystem. We have all of these elemental realms, and taking care of each realm will help all of them work together and create this beautiful synergy for you, where you have access to all of your tools, your magic, all of the possibility. So if you feel like this is part of your journey to invert the paradigm of others first and realize that it's me first, you're the one that gets to go first, to put on your oxygen mask so that then you can create more change, so then you can help more people, so then you can be a bigger ripple, bigger like splash, like instead of a little pebble dropping into a body of water creating little ripples, you could be a whole boulder and make a tsunami of impact, right? If we go first and take care of ourselves first. This is how we create this revolutionary act against the mainstream and all of the paradigms that are happening, in the current culture that we are currently breaking. And it's how we evolve into our next level of consciousness, our next level of embodiment of our soul energy, right? We have to have enough alignment and enough of that foundation so that we can reach those next levels. So if you would like to play more in this energy with me, my kitty's just like balancing on my leg. I'm sitting awkwardly, so she can't really do anything. Here, say hi, Q. She's purring so hard. She's distracting me, but she's purring so hard and sending all of the love to you guys too. If you want to play more in this realm and understand how to work with the entire ecosystem of your being so that you can then be in overflowing abundance, right? And be ready for your next expansion and evolution in all levels and layers of your life, come and join me on Friday and through the weekend at Elemental Prosperity. It's a masterclass that is going to go through, and you're going to get your own elemental template intuitively, right? Of what is the focus for you in each realm right now so that you can expand to the next level. What do you need on the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and on the action realm too? We're going to be receiving coding from Gaia, the consciousness of the planet. She is going to come in, do some activations. I channel Gaia. I work with her. I have for many years. And I don't want to say intimidated, but it's a little bit next level. I've only done like channelings and working with her, with my individual clients, and then inside the playground. So this is kind of next level for me too, but I'm honored. I'm honored that I get to do this for people and bring through the coding for this next level expansion for the way showers. So I'm going to put in the link. You can join me and register. If you can't make it live because it's the weekend, all of that stuff, and you got to work, or you're going to be asleep because you're on the other side of the world, that's fine, because there are replays and we work in 0 point. So in the eternal now moment, you'll still get all the energy and it's going to be so magical. Laura's saying she's so excited. I am too, and the excitement is just building and growing. So I'll throw that link in if you haven't registered already. It's a 2-step process. Make sure you register, but then on the second page, it's a join the Facebook group where all the action is going to take place. It is going to be so much fun. And like I said, this is us being revolutionaries, stepping into our next level of embodiment of all that we are and tapping into all of our magic, which then lets us tap into the abundance of creativity, intuition, and, possibility that is available to us. So I cannot wait. I will talk to you all tomorrow as well. So you can join me on Friday, but I am on day 30, so almost a month in now of my 365 Live Challenge. I've so enjoyed connecting with all of you. There is so much magic that happens when we share our voices, and I'm just so grateful that you were watching and listening, because I tap into your energy and it's co-creative and it's so much fun. So thank you. And that's joyevolution.com/masterclass to join us for Elemental Prosperity. I'm going to type that in and have a beautiful rest of your day, friends.